Welcome, my name is Ebuka, Obi-Uchendu. Thanks a lot for joining us. Yes, it's still political season, and for a lot of people, the past week probably has been the biggest show of the fact that politics is hot in the air. Everything sort of feels and smells and just looks like campaigns are getting really hot. We had a very interesting week with regards to interviews, town hall meetings, interesting looking debates, trips to America. So much happened during the week. But we're going to be following all of that, of course. We're about 4 weeks away from the presidential election and a couple more weeks after that before the state election. So there's a lot happening with regards to politics, and we'll have a big one here on the show today. Presidential candidate of the African Action Congress is here with me, and we're going to be talking about his plans for Nigerians if he becomes president in May. OMOYELE SOWORE, thanks for being here today.
Thank you. Just use the word when he becomes president in June.
Where is the confidence coming from?
That people in this country have determined that they want a change of direction. And we're seeing that in engagement and interaction we're having with young people, old people, a coalition of people who have been abandoned by the existing political structures and class in the country. And I've been to 33 states, spoken to a lot of people. I've been to markets, schools, churches, mosques. I've been to schools, I've been to universities as well and interacted with all these people. And you're hearing the same thing from everybody. They're tired of the same failed political establishment that took Nigeria to where it is today.
But so that seems to have been the case for a long time now for Nigerians. Nigerians have been tired for a while, but people also still feel that we are still not in a position where we have the power to vote our conscience or vote the way we want. We're hearing now about vote buying, which is suddenly a big thing in our politics. What makes you so confident, or are you going to be toeing that route?
No, when people are tired of a system and nobody is mobilizing them, they stay where they are. But in this case, we are reaching out to them and connecting with them, asking them what the problems are, what can be done, and suddenly there's hope. And that hope is fired likely by anger, and I have to admit that. And that anger is also something that they're interested in trust, that even if you can find leaders they can trust, they've been betrayed too many times by politicians who come around and lie to them, give them money, and then they disappear. 4 years later, they're back with another scam. And now we're telling them that, look, it's not just enough to vote, you have to defend your votes, this is how to do it. Interestingly, people know what is wrong with the country, they know what to do, they just haven't found people they can connect with and trust to take them to that next level. And that's what we've seen in the engagements we've had across the country. One other thing we found out is that the political parties, especially the mainstream political parties, are always claiming that they have structures. There are no structures. They just have retail outlets out there for transactional business.
But it seems to be working.
It's not working for them.
But they are winning election.
Yeah, well, that's the question. Are they winning election? You're not winning election when you go and buy votes. That's not winning election when you go and intimidate people, when you use soldiers, police, and then you manipulate the results after voting is done. That's not winning election.
So what structures do you have, or what structures does your party have?
Organic
that makes you believe?
Organic structures, and these structures are also interactive in the sense that, people are talking to themselves. And there's nothing that governments across the world are afraid of more than interaction. When people there seems to be no barrier between people talking about their problems and how to solve it in a way that is not necessarily loud. So instead of pasting posters on walls and defending them, we are pasting it in the consciousness of the people. And that is more effective. Then you don't have a connection between people in the diaspora and people at home. And they found out, that the problems are the same. And they're talking about it and they're finding solutions to it. So you find somebody in Malaysia organizing town hall meetings in his village somewhere in Delta State, or somebody in the US organizing one in Kogi State, and they are funding it, and people are saying, look, this time around we're not going to accept this. And it's never happened before. It's also never happened that people will give money to a political movement or a party to run for election. We have tested and done that. We've been there. And the support is also massive. Typically, politicians give out money to people for everything conceivable that they need to do for them, to go rig, kill, do all kinds of things, including buying votes. But this time around, people are supporting us on their own. And this very progressive political developments are the things that make us feel very strongly that the old guards can be defeated this time around.
We have
roundly defeated.
I think the INEC in the last week released the final list of candidates who are going to be running for office this year, and there are 72 presidential candidates. All 72 of them are not the old guard that you're talking about, and I've interacted with a number of I want to call them colleagues who are also running for the same position, and they seem to have this same belief, that they've reached out. There's a need for there's a hunger across the country for this sort of movement. So why is yours different? And what is different? Because there's something that works already, whether you say it's legal or illegal or right or wrong. There's something that's working already from the two quote unquote big parties. That has been working. Everybody else seems to think they have the new formula. Why is yours the best?
So there's a difference between proclamation of your interaction and outreach, and then there's evidence. In our own case, there's evidence. If I tell you I'm in Sokoto, there'll be a live stream showing that I'm in Sokoto. You see the people we're interacting with. Somebody telling you that he's in Sokoto and didn't leave Lagos is different from a guy who presented evidence that you can verify. And that's what we've done. In all the 33 states we've been to, there's physical evidence to show for it. There is electronic evidence to show for it.
But does visiting states make you...
No, I'm talking about engagement. So, for example, we're the ones that started town hall meetings first before anybody, and that was to allow people to actually touch us, talk to us, and engage with us regarding what they want, ask questions. Politicians don't do that. And after we're done with that, we started doing, what we call Revolution Now rallies, in which we actually go to towns, we go to meetings, we go to villages, and we talk to people. They follow us. And that's what I was talking about, organic followership earlier. We haven't seen that scale of engagement and involvement with the other younger candidates. And I'm not in any way discountenancing their own strategies. But mostly, there's a lot of presence in the media, there's social media activism or activities going on that don't necessarily translate to talking to people. So that is where we are different. And but again, I'm testifying to what we're doing and what is working well for us. I cannot say what they're doing except what I can see that is going on. And I haven't seen much of the activities beyond the major cities, but we go everywhere.
Okay.